My beloved child, listen closely, for this may be the most important moment of your life. You have walked through your days, perhaps unaware of the invisible battle unfolding around you, a battle for your peace, your purity, and your very soul. Darkness does not always come with warning or thunder. It creeps in quietly, disguised in comfort, compromise, and the noise of this world. But today, I am breaking through that noise with a voice you cannot afford to ignore. The hour for spiritual sleep has ended. This is not just another warning or a gentle nudge. This is a rescue call from the one who made you. Every second you hesitate, the enemy gains ground. But every moment you listen, you invite my light to shatter every shadow that has tried to settle in your heart. Stay with me, for what I am about to reveal will expose the silent schemes that seek to bind you and release a freedom you have longed for, but never fully known. Your breakthrough, your protection, your restoration depends on how you respond right now. Do not look away. The battle is real, but so is your victory, if you choose the light. My child, I do not blame you for having doubted. I do not judge you for your confusion, for I know that in a world ruled by reason and science, matters of the spirit can easily be dismissed as mystical, obscure, or disconnected from reality. But I come to you now, not through a hazy dream, not by means of an abstract metaphor, but with a clear, authoritative voice from the very mouth of the one who created both the visible and the invisible. My child, darkness is real. It is not merely a symbol. It is not simply a metaphor. It is a real force present in this world, and it is quietly closing in around you. I speak this not to instill fear, but to awaken you. Not to cause panic, but to help you perceive the true nature of the war in which your soul is engaged each and every day, whether you realize it or not. This darkness does not always wear the terrifying shape you imagine. It does not necessarily appear through frightening images. It cloaks itself in deception, in whispers laced with rationalizations that lead you to accept what is contrary to truth. It may wear the robe of freedom, but it entangles you in sophisticated chains of compromise. It tells you just this once, or everyone does it, or no one will notice. And little by little, it suffocates the light within your soul without you even realizing. My dear child, I do not say this to make you despair. On the contrary, I speak these words out of deep longing because I love you and I want you to be free. I want you to live in the truth. And the truth is this: there is no gray space between light and darkness. You cannot remain in the middle and hope to be untouched. If you do not actively stand in the light, the darkness will creep in silently and persistently. I have seen this unfold too many times. Those who once burned with passion for me now lie in ashes. Those who once walked boldly in the light now bow their heads and wander in the fog, unaware that darkness has become normal in their lives. So, my child, open your eyes, your spiritual eyes. Look within yourself, at your emotions, your decisions, your recent thoughts. Is there something that has closed your heart to my presence? Is there something that is pulling you away from the things that once kept your faith alive? Do not deny it. Do not ignore it. I speak these words not to condemn, but to rescue. I long for you to come out of the darkness, no matter how it has disguised itself. Fame, comfort, distorted relationships, or simply the weariness of spirit that has caused you to stop praying, to stop seeking me as you once did. I know this truth may make you uncomfortable, but true love does not seek to please, it warns. True love points to danger, so the one who is loved will not walk blindly into destruction. And that is exactly what I am doing for you today. I am calling you to awaken. I am calling you to rise. Do not let doubt, spiritual lethargy, or the illusion of false safety lull you into sleep. Now is the time for you to open your eyes and see how precious your soul is in the midst of this battle. Do not let yourself be stolen simply because you believed. It's not that serious yet. I, the one speaking to you now, am the one who holds all powers in the universe in my hands. No force of darkness can ever surpass me. But my beloved, I will not force you out of the shadows. I invite, I knock, I wait for your response. And when you open your heart, even just a crack, my light will rush in. I will shine into every hidden corner of your soul, leaving no space for darkness to dwell. I will drive out weariness, bitterness, wounds, and deception. And in their place I will bring new life, joy, freedom, and divine clarity. So my precious child, do not reject this calling. Do not keep pretending that all is well, if deep within you know something is not right. Let me begin the restoration from the deepest places of your soul. Allow me to fight on your behalf. But first, you must hand back the reins of your life into my hands. Embrace the light. Choose life. Choose me. And I promise you will never have to battle in the darkness alone again. For I, the eternal light, will be with you, before you, within you, and all around you, until no shadow can ever touch you again. The darkness I am warning you about is not merely something that is coming. It is already here. It quietly crossed the threshold of your heart during a moment that may have seemed harmless. It may have come through something you consumed carelessly, out of curiosity, or perhaps during a lapse in vigilance. At the time, you didn't realize that it could open a gateway for dark forces to enter your life. But darkness does not require much to gain entry. Just the smallest crack is enough for it to take root. You may have thought it was just an image, a song, a scene from a movie, an idea, perhaps a casual conversation, or an innocent form of entertainment. But behind that deceptive exterior lies a dark force, waiting for a chance to slip in. It doesn't barge in with noise or force. It creeps in, hiding behind the unexpected. And once inside, it begins its work, not through overt violence, but through subtle manipulation. It begins by stirring thoughts you used to resist. Images your soul once avoided now seem familiar. Words that once raised alarm in your spirit are now repeated like a chorus in your mind. The small things you once brushed off as insignificant have begun to shift your spiritual frequency, dimming your inner light, dulling your ability to hear my voice, weakening your awareness of my presence, and gradually numbing the spiritual sensitivity I once planted deep within you. I do not say these things to condemn you. I do not come to you with a finger of accusation, but with arms of mercy. Yet I cannot remain silent because I love you. I must expose the path the enemy has been using to slowly unravel your soul. You may not have noticed it right away, but soon, if not already, you will begin to see the signs. You feel drained of vitality. Your mind is clouded, your peace is fading, your dreams are disrupted, and your prayers feel dry and lifeless. This is not random. These are the signs of a silent takeover. My dear child, remember that your soul is a temple, the space in which you dwell. Your mind, your heart, your very being is sacred ground where I long to dwell and walk with you. Yet when you open the door to defilement, even unknowingly, you allow the pollution of that temple. Darkness, once it finds a resting place, does not easily leave unless there's confession, renunciation, and a wholehearted rededication of yourself to me. I am calling you to pause. Take a moment to look closely at what you have allowed into your spiritual space. Examine what you are receiving through your eyes, your ears, and your thoughts. Be honest with me and with yourself. Do not make excuses for the things that are wounding your soul. Do not justify them by saying, "Everyone does it," or "This is simply how the world operates." You were not called to live like the world. You were chosen to live differently, to be holy, to shine with my light, and to carry my authority. I know that letting go of something familiar is not easy. Sometimes it may be tied to your joy, your habits, or even your connection with others. But my child, there is nothing in this world that is worth more than the freedom and presence I offer you. No fleeting delight can compare with the eternal peace I desire to pour into your heart. Let me cleanse you. Let me remove whatever is standing in the way of your entrance into the new season. A season of restoration, of divine revealing, of growth beyond what you could have imagined. I do not promise that the process will be painless, but I do promise that I will walk with you through every step of your surrender. I will uphold you when your heart feels weak. I will strengthen you when you feel like giving up, and I will remove every trace of darkness that once hid within you until my light radiates through every corner of your life. I do not simply want you to be saved. I want you to live, to truly live, in the freedom that only I can give. So do not delay, my beloved. Begin to cleanse the sanctuary of your soul. Cast out everything that once held you captive in that sacred territory. Do it with urgency and determination, for this is not merely a ritual. It is a spiritual declaration that you belong to the light, not to the darkness, that you are a child of the King of Kings, and the enemy no longer has authority over your life. I am standing here, waiting for you to decide. Not a half-hearted decision, but a wholehearted one. A choice to embrace the light, to walk in truth, to choose me. When you choose me, you choose life. When you choose me, the darkness loses its place. And I promise you, from that moment forward, I will lead you into a new journey, a journey of deliverance, of healing, and of fullness in my spirit. Are you ready? If so, begin now. For today is the day of salvation. Today is the day you step out of the shadows and into the glory that was prepared for you from before the foundations of the world. This is a moment where there is no room for hesitation. This is the hour for you to face the truth, not with fear, but with a heart made brave by the light of truth. I am calling you, not with the noise of the world, but with a holy echo that is knocking gently yet firmly on the door of your heart. With every beat, every breath, I am awakening your soul, calling you to rise, not just to listen, but to act. Step out of the invisible paralysis that has bound you. Step into the journey of deliverance and renewal in my power. There is no more time to delay, no more space for compromise. My child, I know you. I see the silent yearnings hidden deep within your heart, the prayers you whisper in the stillness of the night, the tears you conceal from everyone, the moments when you fall to your knees and yet still choose not to give up. I behold the sincerity of your soul, even when you question your worth, even when you wonder if you're walking in the right direction. But I say this to you with certainty. I see that heart, and I treasure every act of faith you offer, no matter how small. Yet, in order for you to step into true maturity, to be firmly established in the divine kingdom I have prepared for you, you must face a serious reality, a truth that many choose to ignore. My beloved, just as there is a kingdom radiant with light, where peace reigns and angels worship without end, so there exists a realm of chaos. It is a realm of darkness, where deceived souls are led astray, where shadows linger, and where the enemy labors without rest to destroy all that I love. This enemy does not show his face in ways the natural eye can easily detect. He operates through silence, through sweet words laced with poison, through seemingly harmless invitations that lead to ruin. He comes for you not because you are weak, but because of the spiritual potential within you that he fears. He knows that if you awaken, if you step into the authority of the light, if you fully live under my name, his hold over your soul will be broken forever. That is why he crafts snares disguised as toxic relationships, temporary pleasures, or distorted ideologies masked as freedom or enlightenment. But my child, I have not left you to fight this battle alone. I am not calling you into darkness to fend for yourself. I am inviting you into deliverance, a place where I will be your shield, your torch in the night, your strength when you feel you can no longer stand. But to enter into this place of rescue, you must first acknowledge your need for it. You must be honest with yourself and admit that some things in your life cannot continue as they are. There are habits that must be broken, connections that must be severed, doors that must be closed once and for all so that the darkness has no place to dwell. Awakening is not merely about seeing. It is about stepping out. It is not just about understanding. It is about responding. I know there are moments when you feel you are not strong enough, but I am not calling the perfect. I am calling the willing. And when you offer me your willingness, I will take it and do the rest. I will give you courage you didn't know you had. I will fill your mouth with prayers so powerful they will shake the enemy's camp. I will cause darkness to retreat at the light that shines from within you, not because you are great, but because the one who lives in you is almighty. Do not allow exhaustion to loosen your grip. Do not let past failures convince you that you are unworthy of rescue. It is in the moments when you feel weakest that I draw nearest. When it seems there is no way forward, I will open a path no one else can see. I am the God who breaks chains. I am the God of miracles. And the first miracle I desire to perform is to transform your heart, to restore your spirit, and to lift you out of the land of deception and place your feet upon a solid foundation. My beloved child, know this. The enemy is real. He exists, he thinks, he strategizes, and even more fearsome, he commands a vast army of demonic spirits, loyal and relentless in carrying out his schemes. For thousands of years, they have not ceased. They do not grow weary. The darkness they carry is not just a passing shadow, but a devouring gloom, a spiritual decay that consumes the soul from the inside out if one does not awaken in time. Yet it is not too late for you. I am reaching for you now. Not with condemnation, but with holy urgency. Not to frighten you, but to draw you into my light, into my truth, and into the fullness of life I have destined for you. And I promise you this, I will walk with you through every fire, through every shadow, through every trial, until you are free. They do not need physical weapons to destroy. They move silently yet fiercely in the spiritual realm, clinging to human weaknesses like a patient predator lying in wait. They search for open doors, cracks in the soul, unhealed wounds, repressed emotions, and misguided desires. A single opening is all it takes for them to surge in, sowing seeds of doubt, fear, pride, and resentment, and slowly eroding my light within your heart. Do not assume that their existence is a fantasy or a tale from ancient legends. They are closer than you think. They do not appear in terrifying forms, but are often disguised in beauty, charm, reasonableness, even cloaked in the illusion of light. These demonic spirits are fluent in the language of the world. They know how to make you compromise little by little. They cause you to question truth, to choose what is easy over what is right. Their deception comes not through shouting, but through whispers, not through force, but through subtle persuasion. That is the craft of darkness, to make you forget what true light looks like. But my child, do not let your heart be troubled. I do not speak these things to make you afraid, but to open your eyes. I do not expose the enemy so that you live in fear, but so that you know you are not fighting alone. Just as the wicked one has his army, so do I. The Holy One, the creator of this universe, has my angels, and my angels are not outnumbered, nor are they lacking in power. They are warriors of light, faithful sentinels who guard day and night those who belong to me. Every time you pray, every time you call upon my name in faith, these angels move into action. They do not stand idly by. They fight for you. They surround you. They cleanse the spiritual atmosphere so that you can breathe in peace. When you worship me with a sincere heart, heaven shakes and darkness trembles. When you stand in my name, you are not merely a mortal being. You become part of a heavenly army waging war against unseen foes. However, for you to be fully protected, you must walk in vigilance. You must understand that not all silence is peace, not all sweet words are truth, and not everything that is widely accepted is right. I teach you discernment, not to make you suspicious of everything, but so you are not devoured by counterfeits. I have given you the Holy Spirit, not to boast in your spirituality, but to be led in every decision, every word. And discernment is when you sense something wrong, though no one has spoken it aloud. It's when your soul feels a sudden heaviness in the face of something seemingly harmless. That is me warning you, whispering to your spirit, stay away from this. The enemy will do all he can to make it feel normal. He will say, "Everyone does this, it's not a big deal, just this once." But I tell you, even the smallest compromise can become the entry point for a great attack. A tiny crack is enough for a stream of poison to seep in. That is why I call you to live in holiness, not to make you rigid or harsh, but to make you free. Holiness does not mean perfection, but separation. Separation from what is impure so that you may be filled with life. Do you not know I have given you authority? I do not ask you to fight with bare hands. In my name you can declare freedom. In my name you can cast out every force of darkness. In my name every knee must bow in heaven, on earth, and in the realm of spirits. But this only becomes reality when you live in union with me, when you trust in my power more than in your own strength. I speak to you not to confuse you or to make you afraid, but to open your eyes in the light of truth, so that your spiritual vision may no longer be clouded by the lies that have subtly crept into your mind. I speak to you because I love you and do not want to see your soul entangled in the invisible cords of the enemy. I urgently call you to awaken, not merely to become aware, but to live out that awareness through intentional action, through practical faith, and with a heart ready to say no to everything that once led you into compromise. My beloved, do not take my words lightly. Do not think of this as a mere reminder or a gentle warning. This is an urgent call from the one who fully understands the battle you are facing. This is a word from a heart that burns with love, but also speaks with solemn authority. For I see what your eyes have not yet seen, and I know the dangers lurking behind every seemingly harmless neglect. Therefore I call you, act. Rise, not in your own fragile strength, but in my name, the name above every name, the name that causes heaven to listen and hell to tremble. Begin with your dwelling place, the environment where you live, work, rest, and worship. Cleanse that space, not just with physical order, but with spiritual discernment. Purify it through prayer, through declarations of belonging to me, through the removal of anything that carries the residue of darkness. Objects, images, content, and connections that no longer reflect the holiness and life that come from me. Remember, you do not live in a merely physical world. Every room, every corner of your space carries a spiritual atmosphere, either filled with my presence or tainted by the subtle influence of the enemy. You have the authority to choose that atmosphere. I have given you the power. You are not a passive target in this battle. You are the one holding the keys. And when you lift your voice in faith, when you declare my name with boldness, when you renounce every presence not of the light, then my angels will intervene. They will come to fulfill the word, to break the invisible chains, to drive out every dark intrusion from your life. Do not believe that your prayers are too weak. Do not think that you must be anointed or powerful in the eyes of others before darkness will retreat. I have placed that authority within you. The moment you received me, the moment you became a child of the King of Kings, you do not need to search outwardly for what has already been planted within you. You need only to believe, to step out in faith, and to use what has been given to you from before the foundations of the world. Pray not out of fear, but with confidence. Do not merely ask, declare. Do not simply plead, command in my name. Speak it aloud with clarity. This house belongs to the Lord. This mind is a temple of His Spirit. This life is covered by the blood of the Lamb. Every time you speak in my name, you are building a spiritual stronghold, raising up a wall of holy fire that no enemy can cross. At the same time, confess, not because I need to hear it, but because your soul needs to establish it. To confess your identity as my child is not a religious formality. It is a strategic declaration. It is when you proclaim to every unseen power that you no longer belong to darkness, that you are no longer ruled by fear or shame, that you have been redeemed, sealed, and secured in the hand of the Almighty. And when you do this, the doors once open to darkness will slam shut. Every path the enemy used to sneak in will be blocked. The ancient chains will be shattered, and you will walk in a freedom that no force of evil can take away. My child, I am with you, not only in moments when you feel strong, but even in the depths of your weakness. Not only when you are victorious, but also when you are struggling in the midst of battle. My presence never departs from you, not even for a single moment. And when you choose to rise in my name, when you say enough to all that does not belong to me, every trace of darkness begins to lose its grip. Darkness cannot inhabit the space where my light dwells. It cannot hide where faith is boldly declared. It trembles and flees because the enemy knows exactly who lives within you. Remember this truth, my beloved. You are not fighting in order to become free. You are fighting from the place of freedom that I have already given you. You are not striving to earn love. You are walking in a love that was established for you long before the foundations of the earth. You are not alone in this battle. Heaven itself is moving on your behalf, and I, the one who never fails, am standing at the front lines for you. So rise, my child. Let my name be your weapon, my presence your unshakable refuge, and your faith the flame that consumes every shadow. Then you will witness what many never see, that when even one of my children stands firm in truth, all of heaven moves to uphold them, and the enemy, no matter how vast or cunning, cannot stand against a heart anchored in everlasting light. What you must hold tightly in your heart is this: the enemy does not survive by weapons, but by your lack of understanding. He does not need to strike loudly, only to keep you in the dark, only to keep you unaware. As long as you do not see, do not know, do not understand, he finds ground to stand on, room to operate, and a path to infiltrate the hidden corners of your soul. He roots himself in ignorance and walks quietly through the door of apathy. My beloved, the enemy does not wait for an open invitation. He only needs your spiritual guard to be down. When you live without awareness, when you receive the things of this world without discernment, when you allow your heart to follow emotions that are not measured by truth, you give him room to act. You may think you are simply living like everyone else, casually enjoying life, but behind those seemingly harmless indulgences is a carefully crafted web of deception, waiting for the moment your strength wavers so it can close in. The enemy is not hurried nor careless. He is patient, cunning, and calculated. He sows seeds of doubt, whispers quiet suggestions, raises subtle questions. Is that really true? Could it really be that serious? Everyone else does this. Why should I be different? And slowly, as your vigilance fades, those questions become patterns of thought, then repeated actions, and eventually an entire way of life, a life drifting further from the light. But today that changes. I, the one who created your soul, have come to tear away the veil from your eyes. I will not let you continue walking in darkness without knowing. I have revealed to you what the world tries to conceal and what the enemy fears you'll ever discover, that you do have a real adversary, one who tirelessly seeks to sabotage your soul, sever your connection with me, and dismantle the purpose I have destined for your life. Now that light has come, there is no longer a reason for you to live like one who is blind in the spirit. You are no longer unaware. Revelation has been given to you. Your spiritual eyes have been opened. You have heard my voice. You have recognized the true nature of the battle you are in. And now, my child, you must act. Taking action does not mean acting rashly or in fear. To act is to move in understanding, to live with awareness, and to intentionally guard the spiritual territory I have entrusted to your stewardship. Action means not allowing unclean thoughts to slip into your mind without being confronted. It means refusing to let negative emotions dwell too long in your heart without being brought into the light, faced, and dealt with in truth. It is the courage to acknowledge what must be let go, and the strength to firmly reject all that does not come from me. You must understand this, my child. The enemy can only occupy the spaces you leave vacant. He cannot touch the ground that you have surrendered to me and where I dwell. Therefore, fill your mind with my word. Let your thoughts, your emotions, your words, and your decisions be saturated with my presence. Do not merely read my word out of routine. Allow it to become your living breath, your weapon in the unseen war you are part of. Start with what may seem small: a morning prayer, a quiet moment to listen for me, a single act of denying the flesh, a single choice to love rather than to react from woundedness. These small acts will build a strong spiritual defense. Every time you choose light over darkness, you are pushing back the boundaries of the enemy. Every time you rise up in my name, the power of darkness is shaken. You may feel unprepared, but my dear child, I am not looking for perfection. I am looking for faithfulness. I do not wait for you to be strong before calling you to walk. I call you so that you may become strong. All I ask is your willing heart. Everything else I will provide. I will lead you, I will equip you for every step of this journey, and I will never abandon you to fight alone. So do not fear. Stand up, act with wisdom illuminated by truth. Let this awakening be a milestone of transformation in your journey of faith. From this point forward, you are no longer a passive sufferer, but a warrior of the light, a child who knows what they are fighting for, and who will prevail through the power of the one who called them out of darkness into eternal life. Do not delay, my beloved. Do not wait for everything to collapse before you begin to act. For every moment you hesitate, you give the enemy more ground to build his kingdom within your mind and soul. Every second you remain silent, do not pray, do not resist, is another inch of sacred ground in your heart, taken over by lies and darkness. The enemy needs no formal invitation, only your silence and compromise. You must grasp this truth. The presence of demonic forces is never just a question of if, it is a matter of life and death, a silent but fierce battle between the eternal life I offer and the eternal destruction the enemy schemes. This is not something to be brushed off as an abstract concept or a story meant for someone else. This is reality, present in your living space, your mind, your every thought and emotion. When you allow the enemy to linger, he does not stop at watching. He begins sowing seeds of poison, and if you do not uproot them, they will multiply and take root. Soon you will begin to feel that something is off inside you without knowing why. A weight pressing invisibly upon your mind, a nameless fear that creeps into your sleep, a persistent anxiety that follows you throughout the day. You will begin to notice your heart becoming more easily agitated, bursts of anger coming unexpectedly and with great force, bitter words spoken without conscious thought, and negative emotions swirling endlessly with no release. And the most dangerous thing of all is this: you begin to doubt my love for you. You start questioning whether I'm still with you, whether you are still worthy, whether you are truly loved and forgiven. In that moment, the enemy has taken a significant step forward, pulling you away from the source of life, the source of truth, and the source of hope. This is how it works, not loudly, not overtly, but with subtlety and poison. It dismantles peace piece by piece. It throws your thoughts into chaos and begins to fracture the sacred relationships I have placed around you to lift you up. It breaks unity and plants seeds of suspicion between friends, spouses, parents, and children. It turns those who should love one another into strangers with cold stares, and instead of healing, they end up hurting each other with harsh words, with silence, and with ever-widening emotional distance. My child, open your eyes and look carefully at what is happening. Do not blame your emotions. Do not blame your circumstances. Do not excuse everything with the phrase, "It will all be okay," because peace will not return unless you rise up in my authority and take action. Peace does not come back on its own unless you drive out what has stolen it, and you cannot recover what has been taken unless you first recognize that it has been stolen. I am not saying this to frighten you, but to awaken you, because I love you. I cannot remain silent because your soul is precious. I cannot allow the enemy to drown it in confusion and darkness. You were not created to live as one who stumbles through an emotional maze, but to walk steadily in the freedom and clarity that comes from above. You were not born to be a victim of spiritual assault, but to be a conqueror through the power of the Holy Spirit that lives within you. So do not delay. Do not continue giving the enemy more ground. Stop now and examine everything you are allowing into your heart, everything you are holding on to, everything you are walking alongside in life. Look at your relationships, your words, your recurring thoughts. Do they draw you closer to the light, or are they dragging you toward the shadows? Ask me to show you, and I will. Surrender every corner of your soul to me, and I will sweep away all the dust that has clung to you. I am waiting for you, not with eyes of condemnation, but with open arms like a compassionate father. I am here beside you, ready to fight with you, ready to place the sword of the Spirit into your hand, ready to send my angels to guard every step you take. But you must choose. You must say enough. You must put a stop to the silent invasion that is taking place. For when you rise up in faith in my name, every force of darkness will be shaken. They cannot remain where the light dwells, and that light, the light of life, of hope, of deliverance, has always been available to you. All you need to do is choose it, walk into it, and never return to the shadows again. You were made for glory, not for confusion. You were born to love, not to dwell in resentment. You were called to union with me, not to be divided by dark schemes. So rise now, my beloved child. Do not let another moment belong to the darkness. Take back the spiritual territory that has been occupied, and let me walk with you on this journey of restoration. A journey that will lead you back to wholeness, to peace, and to the sacred purpose I designed for you from the very beginning. My beloved child, the adversary operates around you every single day, silently, cunningly, and persistently, seeking to gradually infiltrate and claim territories within your mind and soul where you have let down your guard. That is why I urge you, learn to recognize his presence through specific signs. Do not be deceived by the outward appearance of peace, for not all peace comes from me, and not all turmoil is merely an emotional fluctuation. The first sign you must be aware of is a sudden, overwhelming fear. It rushes in like a wave with no clear cause, yet it bears a crushing weight that makes your soul tremble, your body weaken, and your heart flood with images that are not from me. This is not a rational concern, but a fear born from a spirit of oppression. It convinces you that everything is about to collapse, that danger is lurking, that you cannot go on, though there is no tangible reason. That is the moment when darkness is trying to bind your faith, to paralyze you and stop you from moving in my will. Do not dismiss that feeling. Speak my name, declare my promises, and let my light shatter the weight of that oppression. The second sign is a state of mental chaos. You may begin to struggle with focus, becoming easily distracted during prayer, while reading my word, or even in your daily routines. Tasks that once brought joy now feel burdensome, as if a fog has settled over your mind, clouding your thoughts and making everything feel tangled. Good plans begin to unravel for no apparent reason. This is a clear indicator that a spiritual disturbance is at work within your atmosphere. It does not want you to advance. It wants you to doubt yourself and to doubt my calling upon your life. The third sign, and perhaps one of the most telling, is the increase of negative thoughts. These are no longer fleeting moments, but become a constant inner voice. I'm not good at anything. No one understands me. I'm failing. No one truly loves me. These are not words from me. I never belittle you. I never cause you to feel abandoned or worthless. When such thoughts become familiar, know that the enemy's voice is being unconsciously welcomed, and if not immediately severed, it will take root in your soul and give rise to deeper emotions like depression, envy, insecurity, and even resentment toward me. The fourth sign is the fracturing of relationships. When you begin to notice unexplained tension within your family, among friends, or in your community, when small misunderstandings grow disproportionately, when uncontrolled words cause wounds that never should have been, this is a sign that darkness is slipping in, sowing division, causing you to feel isolated, discontent, and stripped of the unity I so deeply desire for you. The enemy fears unity, for wherever there is true love, forgiveness, and connection, my power is manifest in fullness. That is why his first aim is always to break it. The fifth sign is disturbed sleep. If you frequently wake in the night with fear, experience strange dreams, or sense a heavy presence in your room, do not take it lightly. You may be under spiritual attack while you sleep. Open spiritual doors caused by negative influences or by the presence of unholy objects within your room create an environment in which dark spirits operate. Pray, anoint your space with oil, invite my presence to reign in that room every night before you sleep, for I desire that you rest in true peace. The final and most concealed sign, but also the most dangerous, is when you begin to grow indifferent to my presence. You no longer feel the urgency to pray. The hunger for my word fades from your heart. You begin to justify yourself, saying that you are too busy, that you will read it later, or that there's no need to be so fervent. When the fire within you no longer blazes, but dwindles and dims, perhaps even dies out, the enemy has already succeeded in what he longed for, quietly distancing you from me without your awareness. But my child, do not be afraid. I do not reveal this to condemn you. I expose it to deliver you. For when light shines forth, the darkness can no longer hide. Now that you recognize these signs, do not delay. Speak to me. Call on my name. Rebuke every force that does not belong to the light. Allow me to cleanse the space you dwell in and inhabit every breath within your soul. Now that you have become aware of the presence of darkness and the traces it has left in your life, the first thing you must do is not merely pray, but take deliberate action to purify and sanctify the very environment in which you live. I do not desire your freedom only in mind or emotion, but also in the physical space where your soul abides each day. For my child, your physical surroundings are not merely walls and inanimate objects. They carry frequencies, they absorb spiritual atmospheres, and very often the external environment mirrors the internal state of your heart. Just as your physical body requires daily washing to remove dust and remain clean, so too does your soul need a living space that is wholesome, set apart from every unclean influence. Disorder, darkness, dampness, they do not merely weary the body, but also create favorable conditions for dark spiritual forces to take root. Places that lack light, vitality, and praise unto me become fertile soil where the enemy seeks to dwell. Therefore, my child, I call you to act as a faithful steward over your room, your home, and the spaces entrusted to your care. Rise up and throw open the windows. Let fresh air flood in. Let the light penetrate every shadowed corner. Play worship songs and hymns of praise. Let the sound of life shatter the heavy silence that has settled over where you live. The sound of my kingdom has power to displace the invisible things that have quietly taken residence. Above all, I urge you to be courageous and serious in examining every item, every painting, every gift, every book, every decoration within your home. If there is anything that once served as a gateway for darkness, whether it be objects connected to witchcraft, astrology, foreign spiritual practices, strange symbols, or even seemingly harmless items that carry memories of painful, toxic chapters of your past, you must firmly and decisively remove them from your life. Do not nurture anything that I have not placed into your hands. Perhaps these items were given to you by someone dear. Perhaps they once held beautiful memories, but if they serve as sources of negative spiritual influence, they are not worth keeping. No memory is more valuable than peace. No gift is more precious than my presence. You must understand this, my beloved. Every object in your living space carries a certain spiritual frequency, an energy that either draws heaven nearer or empowers darkness. Objects born out of superstition, dark arts, or idolatrous practices, gifts from relationships that no longer align with my holy will, items marked with symbols tied to darkness. All of these become anchor points for the enemy to cling to. They do not merely exist in your home. They influence your mood, your rest, your focus, and even your ability to hear my voice clearly. Do not delay any longer, my beloved. Do this as an act of worship. Lay your hand upon each object and ask me, Lord, does this belong to you? And if there is even the slightest hesitation, any trace of unease in your heart, if the Holy Spirit within you does not give peace, then that is a clear sign that it must be removed. And when you do this, not in fear, but in faith and obedience, I will move. I will send my angels to guard that space, to pour into it a fresh peace, a new breath of life, and a renewed holiness from heaven. Invite me into every room, every corner. Anoint if you are able. Declare my word throughout the space. Leave no gap unguarded, no empty place that may become a refuge for the enemy. Every time you cleanse a darkened area, you are opening a new part of your life for me to dwell in. Every object removed is a chain broken. Every prayer lifted is a torch ignited in the midst of the night. You will feel the shift tangibly. The atmosphere will become lighter. Your sleep will be deeper. Your mind will be clearer. Your heart will become more sensitive to my voice, for nothing will hinder you anymore. Nothing will veil you. The light has come in, and darkness cannot remain. You are not simply cleaning a physical space. You are preparing a sanctuary, a place of worship where I will delight to dwell daily. My child, you are my temple. And now the very house you live in must also be established as holy ground, a place where I can walk with you intimately each day. Do not take this lightly. Do not wait for a more convenient time. This is the moment. This is the day I come to renew all things. My beloved, listen deeply with the ears of your spirit to what I am revealing. For this word is not spoken merely to comfort you, but to help you stand firm, to help you know your worth in the eyes of the one who created all things. I have prepared for you a sacred gift far greater than any treasure this world can offer. It is not perishable wealth, nor fleeting brilliance that easily entices man's heart. No, my child, I have set aside for you an eternal treasure that no thief can steal, no time can fade, no power can snatch away. That treasure is my presence, a living, enduring connection between you and me. It is a joy that cannot be extinguished, a peace beyond all understanding. It is peace that does not depend on circumstances, that does not waver with emotion, that does not disappear in the face of storms. This peace originates in heaven. It surpasses human comprehension and abides within those who truly belong to me. And you, my child, are the one I have chosen to receive it, not because you are perfect, but because I love you with an unshakable love. So hold fast to me when everything around you trembles, when worldly promises entice, when temptation comes clothed in sweet but empty words. Do not turn away. I am the anchor of your soul, the stronghold in the storm. And I say this to you, if you cling to me, I will never let you go, never. Even when you are weak, even when you stray, even when you believe yourself unworthy, I will still be there. My love does not change. My promise is not revoked because of your failures. As long as you call upon my name, I will remain near. This world will never cease to offer shortcuts, promises of quick gratification, effortless success, and whispers that say just this once or this is harmless. But my child, do not be deceived. The broad and glamorous path it paints is in truth a road that leads to destruction. That ease is merely a mask disguising a prolonged fall. For the enemy of your soul prowls unceasingly, constantly seeking to lure you away from the true path I have set before you. Perhaps you have been so proud, so chained by your virtue and accomplishment, that the path now presents itself to you looking so unpleasant that you feel you cannot live up to it. My way is different. My way is not always adorned with roses. It is narrow and at times rugged. It demands courage, requires endurance, and calls you to deny yourself and take up your cross. Yet that very road, that seemingly difficult path, is the one that leads to life, to the fulfillment your soul has longed for. It is the path few choose, but it is the path of those who understand true value. I never called you into a life of ease, but I promise that if you walk the path I have appointed, you will find life, truth, and a joy so deep it cannot be replaced by anything else. So trust me, even when your vision is clouded by the fog of doubt. Walk by faith even when you cannot see each step ahead. Let faith be your feet, and let my word be the lamp that lights your way. I know there are moments when it feels as though you are walking through the valley of shadows, unable to see any light at the end of the road. But I say to you, in those very moments, I am closer than ever. When you cannot see me, trust that I am holding your hand. When you cannot hear my voice, know that I am whispering peace into your heart in a still, quiet way. The plan I have for you has never been a plan of failure. Even though you may not understand it all now, believe that everything I allow is guiding you toward a good and purposeful end. I do not lead you to the edge of despair, but into the promised land. My plan is to prosper you, not to harm you, to give you a future filled with hope, not a life of uncertainty and fear. My beloved, do not trade what is eternal for what is temporarily comfortable. Do not abandon the light simply because the darkness seems easier to navigate. You are the one I have chosen, the lamp I have lit in the midst of a dark world, and you are not alone. You are surrounded by the army of angels, preserved by my hand, and led by my spirit. Keep walking, hold fast. Do not look around you in distraction, but lift your eyes upward, where I am always watching over you. Beloved child, I am now calling you into a blessing unlike anything this world chases after. I am not calling you to a life filled merely with material abundance or fleeting fame. What I am inviting you into is a life that is rich at the roots, deep in the soul, a life that brings healing, delight, and divine connection beyond human comprehension. I am inviting you to live a life that is whole, not because of what you hold in your hands, but because of the one you walk with. A life not measured by external luxury, but by the depth of my presence within you. I do not want you to merely exist in the narrow sense of the word. I want you to truly live with meaning, with mission, with love, and with eternal purpose. A life not merely to survive, but to be transformed, to grow each day in vibrant communion. I long to see you live a life of fullness, but the kind of fullness I give is not like the hollow promises of the world. The world will tell you that fulfillment comes from having more money, more fame, more attention. But I declare to you that true fulfillment flows from knowing me personally and intimately, and walking with me in the smallest details of your life. It is not a second-hand knowledge passed down through others, but a first-hand encounter born from the genuine collision between your soul and my spirit. You will never feel lacking when you walk in my presence, for I am the one who satisfies the deepest needs of your heart. You may not always have material abundance, but you will always have enough. Enough peace in the storm, enough hope in the darkness, enough strength in weariness, and enough love to keep forgiving, to keep loving, and to keep reaching for something greater. When you choose to follow my guidance, when you resist the loud and enticing calls of the world and instead walk in the stillness of divine direction, you will begin to realize that blessing is not just the destination, it is the journey itself. Every step aligned with my will is a blessing. Every decision made in obedience is a seed of glory that will grow. I do not only reward at the end of the road, I bless each step, each day lived, and each small act of faith along the way. The blessings I give you will not always come in easily recognized forms. Sometimes they are hidden in the tears you shed in the dark of night, in the moments you chose to forgive rather than retaliate. in the times you remained faithful instead of compromising. These are the blessings of spiritual maturity, of a faith refined, of a heart expanded to love deeper and stronger. These are the blessings of an unshakable peace and a satisfaction that nothing else can replace. You will see me at work in the smallest things, in a meaningful conversation, in a quiet morning, in a timely word of comfort, in a subtle shift within your soul. I do not only dwell in the grand miracles, I am present in the ordinary rhythm of your days, as a gentle reminder that you are on the right path, that I am guiding you in quiet yet tender ways. And the most wondrous thing is this: the blessings I pour out upon you do not stop with you. When you live in my fullness, you yourself become a channel of blessing to others. Your peace will spread, your joy will inspire. The love you receive from me will heal the broken hearts around you. You will not only live a life that is blessed, you will become a vessel of blessing to a world thirsting for light. So, my beloved, keep walking close to me. Let each day be a deeper step into communion with the one who created you. Do not let your eyes wander to what is fleeting. Do not let your heart be drawn by the lures of easy success. Keep your eyes on me, your heart anchored in my word, and your feet on the narrow path that leads to glory. For there, you will not only find me, you will find yourself. You will discover why you were born, and you will taste a joy that nothing can ever take away. I am calling you into a life worth living, a life where every moment carries eternal significance. And when you respond, I promise you will never regret it. For nothing in this world compares to the glory of a life lived in me, walked with me, and completed in me. This is the life you were created for, and now is the time for you to embrace it with all your heart. My precious child, I know there are days when you open your eyes to this life and everything feels like a veil of mist, a string of uncertainties, unanswered questions, and choices that weave into a maze with no clear exit. There are nights when you sit in the stillness, your heart weighed down by the uncertainty of what tomorrow might bring, wondering if the steps you've taken are leading anywhere worthwhile. But in the midst of all that ambiguity, still your soul, and you will hear my voice, a voice that never changes. I am here. I am still with you. I do not promise that life will always be easy. I do not hide the truth that there will be challenges, days when it feels like you're walking through a dry and desolate wilderness. But I do promise this: in that very wilderness, I will cause flowers to bloom. I will make streams of sweet water flow from barren ground. I will transform what looks like a dead end into an open path leading to a land of blessing. That is why I call you today. Place your trust in me, not just when things are clear and favorable, but especially when everything seems uncertain. True faith does not demand visible evidence. It simply trusts in the one who never fails. Walk forward, not with a heart weighed down by fear, but with steadfast confidence. Step ahead, not only for yourself, but for those you love, for the souls who are watching how you live and who need a light to guide them. You do not live for yourself alone. Your life carries influence, a calling, a flame entrusted to you to illuminate the space where I have placed you. Every step you take in faith is not just a testimony of loyalty. It is a spark of hope for those still wandering in the dark. Be courageous, my child. Courage does not mean the absence of fear. It means choosing to move forward, even when fear still lingers. And you are not alone. You do not walk by your own strength. My power flows through the spiritual veins of your being, upholding you when you feel like giving up, reminding you of your purpose when you're tempted to quit. I know you, every hidden thought, every pain no one else can touch, every dream you've buried deep within. And I also know the wonder I have placed inside you, something that you will only begin to discover when you rise with courage. Then you will start to see its beauty and power unfold. The journey you are on is not random. It was crafted by a hand wiser than any wisdom, by a heart more loving than any love you have ever known. This path may wind, may climb steeply, may be rugged at times, but it is the path that leads you to true life. With every step you take on that path, something profound will begin to stir within your soul. A joy that does not come from your circumstances, but from the certainty that you are walking in the right direction, living with true purpose, doing what is right in my sight. You will begin to understand that real joy does not come from avoiding pain, but from facing it and finding that it does not overcome you. That joy is not a shallow laugh, but a deep satisfaction that rises from knowing you are living under the protection and guidance of the Living One. It is born from trust in a promise that never fails, from surrendering to a good plan even when you do not yet see the full picture, from choosing the narrow road I have prepared for you and discovering that this very path leads to the deepest freedom. Look into my face, my beloved. There is no wound you have suffered that I do not know. No tear has fallen from your eyes without touching my heart. No sigh has left your lips without being heard by me. And because I know, I am here, not to observe you from a distance, but to walk beside you, not to test you, but to strengthen you, not to demand from you, but to give abundantly to you. Believe that I will complete what I began in you. I am not only the one who starts, but the one who brings all things to fulfillment. I will not leave you unfinished in the middle of the journey. I will not allow your faithfulness to be in vain. I will not let your quiet efforts go unnoticed. In my appointed time, every seed you have sown will take root and grow in my light. Every dream I have sanctified in you will blossom, and in my love you will be led into a life not only full of meaning, but overflowing with blessing. So rise up, my beloved child. Adjust the armor of your spirit. Lift your head and walk forward, not with burdens but with hope, not with anxiety but with faith. For I go before you, preparing the way. I walk beside you, up the one who never misleads. I know opening your heart is not an easy thing. Perhaps you once believed, once hoped, and were met with disappointment. Perhaps you once waited, only to be delayed. Perhaps you once held on to a promise, thinking it would surely come to pass, only to watch it vanish like morning mist. But my dear child, none of that means my word to you is untrue. It does not mean I have forgotten you. It does not mean I have withdrawn my promise. There are seasons, there are lessons, there are necessary steps your soul must journey through in order to be ready to carry the weight of the great blessing I am about to bestow. For great blessings require a firm foundation, and I never place treasure in a vessel that is not yet prepared. And so today, I invite you to let go. Let go of the fears that imprison your courage. Let go of the doubts that dim your inner light. Let go of the control you've clung to out of the worry that if you don't manage everything yourself, it will all fall apart. You don't need to have all the answers. You only need to know that I am the one calling you into a new land, a place where you will live more fully, more deeply, more freely, and more intimately aligned with the very purpose I wove into the design of your life. Allow yourself to step into that fullness. Do not hesitate. Do not shrink back from what I have prepared especially for you. Imagine your soul as a field, and now the first rains of the season are falling to soften the ground, preparing it to receive new seeds. I have not come to take anything from you. I have come to give, and not something vague or fleeting, but something custom-made for you. Blessings unlike any other, doors no one else can walk through, callings that only your soul was formed to carry. Prepare your heart to receive these sacred gifts, not with the worry of am I worthy, but with gratitude and trust. For the gifts of heaven are not distributed based on merit, but on love. I do not give because you are good enough. I give because I am good, and I know what you were created for. The opportunities I am opening will come at the right time, in the right way, and in the right measure for you to receive. Not too early, not too late, perfectly on time. You must understand this. What is coming to you is not random. It is not coincidence. It is not luck. and is not the mere result of your own striving. It is the unfolding of a divine blueprint, crafted by a Father who knows your every breath, every step, every hidden dream. These blessings are part of a sacred design I established before the foundation of the world, and only when you bravely follow my voice will you begin to truly live out the fullness of who you were always meant to be. I know you are not perfect, but I also know the potential you carry. Those things even you may struggle to believe about yourself. Yet I see them. I know them. I believe in them. I call you not because you are already enough. I choose you not because you are ready, but so that I may prepare you alongside me. And when you respond, when you step into the new land I'm inviting you to, when you choose to believe and to act, every small step you take will become a testimony of my faithfulness. You will grow. You will be transformed. You will not merely become someone by the world's standards. You will become the very person I, your Creator, dreamed of when I formed you. One who carries light, carries hope, carries healing. One who knows they were not called to follow the crowd, but to walk a singular path, a path only they can fully walk. So rise now, my child, in faith. Stretch out your arms and embrace the new season that is coming. Do not fear if you cannot yet see the full picture. Do not hesitate because of old wounds. You have come too far to turn back now. You have endured. You have waited. You have held on to faith through many storms. Do not stop when the blessing is right in front of you. My beloved child, engrave this truth deeply within your heart. Your worth in my eyes never wavers, never changes, and is never dependent on circumstances or the way you perceive yourself. You do not need to prove your worthiness to receive the blessings I have for you, for my love is not a reward to be earned. It is a gift, and a gift does not require perfection to be given. The blessings you are receiving now, or will soon receive, are the outpouring of my boundless love. They flow straight from the heart of a Father who loves you with a love that knows no condition. Never allow your mind to be deceived into thinking that you are not good enough to receive the treasures I long to give you. The enemy will try to convince you that such gifts are meant for someone else, for those who seem more deserving, for those you perceive to be holier, more successful, or stronger than you. But I tell you this, you are the one I have chosen to bless, not because of perfection, but because I see within you a heart that listens, a soul that longs to follow my lead. It is your tenderness in response to my voice, the whispers of prayer you offer in solitude, your faithfulness in the smallest things. These are what bring me unspeakable joy as I place good things into your hands. So receive them, my child, not just with your mind, but with your whole heart. Do not hold on to doubt. Do not block the flow of blessings with barriers named, I am not worthy. When you receive with gratitude and humility, those blessings will not only fill your soul, but they will grow, multiply, and flourish in ways you never imagined. I do not pour into you so you can keep it all to yourself. What I place in your hands is meant to seep into every corner of your life, to become living water that flows from you, without watering the parched ground around you. The blessings I give are not solely for your personal needs. They will touch your family. They will impact those you love. The peace you carry will settle upon the home where you live. The joy you hold within will ease the weariness of those close to you. The words of hope you speak will lift the hearts of those bowed low under the weight of trials. And then something miraculous will begin. You will see yourself becoming a vessel, not just a receiver, but a carrier of life, of healing, and of light. I will use your very life as a living testimony that blessings from heaven are not reserved for those in lofty places, but for anyone who dares to believe, to open their heart, and to walk in obedience. You will discover that the gifts I give are not abstract or distant. They are tangible encounters, like an unexpected hand of help from a friend just when you feel you can't go on, like a word of comfort whispered into your brokenness, like arms wrapping around you precisely when you feel most alone. And above all, you will experience the peace I place within you. Peace that surpasses every fear, every storm, every source of anxiety. It will not arrive as a vague promise for some far-off tomorrow, but as a living, breathing reality in your now, in this very moment. That peace will calm your racing heart, will extinguish the flames of confusion, will ignite light in the darkest chambers of your mind. And you will be surprised to find yourself smiling even as the tears haven't fully dried, standing firm even as everything around you seems to collapse, rising up when all logic points towards surrender. This is the power of my grace. This is what you are being invited to receive, not when everything is perfect, but right here in the midst of your journey, even as the path remains unfinished. Let me fill you, not so that the blessings stop with you, but so that they overflow, spread outward, and transform the very atmosphere around you. I long for others to look at you and see me, not through grand displays or dazzling achievements, but through simple acts of kindness, gentle words, and the moments when you choose love instead of judgment, forgiveness instead of resentment, hope instead of despair. And in those seemingly small things, I will reveal my glory. I will show the world that true blessing does not come from holding tightly, but from letting go. Not from striving and grasping, but from trusting. Not from climbing alone, but from surrendering in love. You will discover that the gifts I give far exceed what you ask for, always arrive right on time, and carry wonders that defy logic and surpass understanding. Believe in the value you carry. Believe in the heart I have for you, and walk into tomorrow not with burdens but with joyful expectation for what I have prepared, what I have released, and what I will continue to pour out is all to remind you, you belong to me, and in me you will never lack. In me you will always be full of love, full of grace, and full of a life more abundant than you ever dared to dream. My beloved child, as this message comes to an end, remember, this is not the end of my speaking into your life. Every time you return to this channel, you are stepping back into my presence, opening your heart to hear what heaven is declaring over you right now. When darkness tries to whisper, when confusion or heaviness returns, do not isolate yourself. Come back here, where my light is always shining and my truth is ready to lift you up again. Let this be your sanctuary, a place of renewal, clarity, and breakthrough. Subscribe, revisit, and invite those you love, for every video is another chance to be equipped, awakened, and anchored in the truth. As you listen, I will strengthen you. As you return, I will reveal more. As you stay connected, you will grow, not just in knowledge, but in authority and freedom. You do not walk this journey alone. Come back whenever you need to be reminded, refreshed, or restored. Each time you do, I am here, ready to speak, ready to cover you, ready to make your home and heart a sanctuary for my spirit. Stay close, stay expectant, and keep walking in the light. Your victory and deliverance are unfolding, and your story is not over. Until you return, know that you are never abandoned and never beyond my reach. I love you, and I am waiting for you. Amen.